Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. Well, I'm going to be talking today about something very, um, might be upsetting to some of you. Some of you it won't be, but some of you it might be a trigger. And what I'm going to be talking about today is depression, loneliness, and sadness. Now, it's that time of year that, did you know the highest suicides are in January after Christmas? And I think a lot of it has to do with family issues, who you see, who you don't see. Did you have a good time? Were you disappointed? Was it too busy? Did it not live up to your expectations? Et cetera, et cetera. Plus, income, all of a sudden, the credit card bills start coming in, and it's an actual phenomenon. So I'm going to use very gentle tarot cards, the angel tarot cards, and the fairy tarot cards. And this reading is for anybody who is experiencing depression, loneliness, sadness, or a combination of all three. And who's at the top of my mind today, and the reason I thought I would do this is, believe it or not, King Charles. If you have to deal with a narcissist in your family, married or not, they disrupt the family. We have a lot of mental illness in our family, and right now we're dealing with a narcissistic situation, and it really isn't fun. Honestly, it really isn't fun. And it just made me think, like, he has to do this in the public eye and be king at the same time, and support his son whose wife is going through cancer, and go through his own cancer. And for some reason, my heart just opened up to him today. I know I've been very hard on him, but why isn't he doing anything? Do something, do something. And to tell you the truth, I actually know why. It's because you're paralyzed in sadness, loneliness, depression. It's bad. I actually have a very good friend, and she lost her son just in 2024. And some days she can't get out of bed. And I imagine it would be tougher to watch your child berate you in public in a worldwide stage, knowing you can't say or do anything, and knowing that you've done nothing wrong. I think that's the big part, is knowing that you've done nothing wrong. And a lot of people talk to me about, when I say, do a reading on the narcissism of Megan, and they're like, oh my God, my son is married to one too, and that's why I follow this. And narcissists are psychopaths that can ruin lives, living while they're living. Of course, nobody wants to wish anybody dead, but sometimes you wonder if the peace of knowing that you're not going to get another hit again, sometimes physically, sometimes literally, sometimes figuratively. Yes, you'd be crying and you'd have grief, but you wouldn't have the psychological damage. You're only dealing with grief. I don't know why I'm so upset about this. King of Spring. So this is the King of Wands. Innovative, inspiring, wise, theatrical. A financial windfall. Your leadership skills are needed now. An unexpected supporter of your cause. Maybe somebody in the comment section will bring some wise words to some of us who are going through this. So I just want to ask the fairies and the angels to help us who are going through the winter blues, perhaps. I got myself a sad light, the seasonal affective disorder, and I use that every morning. I don't know why I'm breaking up. I might have to pause. Ego, the devil, the illusion of being trapped. And that's so true. We feel trapped by these by this sadness, this depression, this loneliness, this psychological warfare from people that we love, placing too much importance on material items, getting caught up in fear and worry. Look at that. Ego. Anyways, as an empath, as a sensitive, I take a lot of things to heart. And when people are mean to me, I don't understand it. People are cruel. I don't understand it. How can you be so cruel to somebody? Especially if they don't deserve it. But that's a narcissist. They don't care. They just plow through life, destroying lives, leaving a wreckage behind them of real people, of real hearts, of real thoughts, of real minds, destroying love, grieving. Maybe that's why it's so difficult while they're alive. You're grieving them. You're grieving the love that's lost. Do you have a narcissist in your life? Are you struggling? I think Christmas is the worst. It's a big trigger for them. It's like they have an audience. And then people ask, how was your Christmas? Oh boy. Anyways, let's get to the cards. Okay, fairies, please help us all who are watching this, who are destroyed by, not destroyed, are struggling. Destroyed. No, destroyed is you choose to be destroyed. That's an Eight of Swords situation. You choose to be a victim. But for those of us who are touched by and struggling with depression, loneliness, sadness, and psychological warfare from people we love. You know, if some stranger said the things to me that my loved ones can say to me, I wouldn't bother me. I'd say, yeah, go fuck yourself. Oh, geez, I'm going to have to edit that out. Sorry. Right? But as soon as somebody you're attached to, whether it's a friend, family member, somebody you really care for, and they say the same things, it's like they put the knife in and twist it. And how do you protect yourself against that? Eight of Winter. Well, I just said the Eight of Swords. Thank you, fairies. You have what it takes if only you believe in yourself. Thinking that you're powerless when you're not. A lack of self-confidence that brings you getting what you want. Eight of Swords, Eight of Winter. We're in the throes of winter. And here it shows up. And that's why I love these fairy and angel cards. I feel like it's more than a tarot card. It's direct messages from the other side. Eight of Winter. That's exactly what depression is. Loneliness, sadness. You know, we all have somebody to talk to, whether it's a Facebook friend, maybe you're just texting or messaging, or your neighbor, go for coffee. I think a lot of times we think our loneliness and sadness is self-inflicted. Some sadness, of course, you lose a loved one. Well, of course, that's grief. That's much, much different. Much, much different. Princess of Autumn, studious, responsible, cheerful, mischievous. Happy days about your career, promotions, or scholarship. Well thought out plans that go perfectly. Nothing a little push to get going. Well, there you go. Distraction, right? Distraction. Focus on your work. Find a book to read. Distraction. Two of Winter, Two of Swords. Indecision is holding you back. Make the choice that's best for you rather than trying to please others. Oh, my Lord. Feeling trapped between the intellectual and the emotional. So, this is Two of Swords. This is knowing you have to make a decision, but you don't. But you don't. Out of fear, out of laziness. Perhaps this person, who this narcissist in your life, perhaps you have to make a decision like King Charles has and just cut them out and just say, I can't do this anymore. I'd rather grieve you than be stressed by you. I'd rather grieve you than be attacked by you. And perhaps that's why some of us are struggling, is because we won't make that decision. We won't make that decision to get out of bed, to comb our hair, to go to the coffee shop, just to be around other people. Perhaps pick up a book, distract ourselves, or throw us into work instead of wallowing around why we're so upset. Six of Autumn, the good you do comes back to you. I had to read that twice. That didn't make sense to me. The good you do comes back to you. I think there's something awkward there. An unexpected inflow of money, borrowing wisely, or repaying a debt. Six of Autumn. So that's the Six of Pentacles. So that's the balancing things out. And the Prince of Winter. Intellectual, determined, focused, impulsive. Seek out an intellectual solution to your problem. Mind over matter. The need to act quickly and decisively, sudden or unexpected changes. So that's actually really good news. You know what? Get out of your heart, get out of your emotions, and fix it intellectually, because this is not going. Look at the three pillars are all swords, which is mind, which is air, which is intellectual, which is words. And so perhaps either you're overthinking something right here with the Eight of Winter, you've trapped yourself. So it's almost like you trap yourself. You have to make a decision and you'll break free by using your intellect, not your heart. And even though your heart, you should, follow through with your heart. Sometimes your intellect, your mind has to keep your heart safe. And so if you're dealing with somebody who's dropping psychological bombs on you, you have to look at it from an intellectual point of view. And because trying to think what they're thinking and trying to think their next move, or trying to think, worried about, or not worried, thinking about how can they be so cruel? How can they be so miserable? Instead of worrying about that, think, how can I think this through? So what's best for me? Six of Winter, look at all the swords. Yeah, this is definitely more in the mind. Positive changes are on their way. A welcome relief from troubled times, traveling or relocating. So yeah, I think just by reading these cards and getting some advice from these cards, I can see that moves you on to peace, that this is almost a manifesting thought process, thinking things through and thinking what's best for you. Ace of Summer, open your heart to love, the beginning of a new intimate relationship or the rebirth of a current one, the awakening of psychic abilities or spiritual epiphanies. So that's good too. Like, make sure you're in your heart, but like, use your head and your heart. Ace of Summer, that's your heart chakra. So keep that balance open, but use your mind to get out of this. Five of Spring, opportunity goals arising from differing opinions, feeling at odds with yourself or others, overly ambitious people. Look at that on the Six of Autumn, Five of Spring. Yes, so just be careful of the physical struggle won't get you out of this. It's your intellectual ability to think things through, to put new thoughts, mind over matter, and to use your brain, not your heart, because your heart will keep you in emotional upset. King of Spring. Oh, here we go. We have the wands again. Innovative, inspiring, wise, and theatrical. A financial windfall. Your leadership skills are needed now. An unexpected supporter of your cause. So yeah, that's the King of Wands. So perhaps there'll be somebody in the comments who has some great ideas, right? So that's that swords, ideas, thoughts, words. Four of Autumn. Manage your resources wisely, achieve a balance in how you spend and save money, help out those who are less fortunate. Now, one of the things that I have read about depression and loneliness and sadness is to volunteer. And I think the Four of Autumn here with the King of Spring and the Four of Autumn, it doesn't have to cost to volunteer. You can volunteer at your food bank, at a nursing home. Maybe they need somebody to read to them, for example, or just, push them around or whatever. An animal charity. But it gets you out of your head. That goes back to this Princess of Autumn. It gets you out of your head. It gets you out with other people, and it makes you feel a lot better that you're contributing to the world. So I'm not surprised this Four of Coins showed up here, and help those who are less fortunate. And that doesn't mean you have to help them with money. Perhaps just your neighbor needs their walk shoveled. Or perhaps bring your neighbor, maybe they're lonely as well. Make a big pot of soup and bring them, a bowl of soup or some such thing. It doesn't have to be a lot. If you're going shopping, call them and say, I know the roads are bad and you can't get out. Can I get you? Do you need anything? I'm going to the grocery store. That kind of thing. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it makes you feel so much better, and it's a distraction from what's going on in your life. Five of Winter. Walk away from dishonest associations. Realizing that you thought you wanted isn't the best choice for your happiness. Something that's not worth the effort. Look at these fairies. Isn't that the truth? There you are in your light and your sensitivity and your empathy. Just walk away from them. Isn't it interesting how many of that showed up? Walk away from dishonest associations, realizing that what you thought you wanted isn't the best choice for your happiness. Something that's not worth the effort. See, an effort is wands and body, right? And thoughts. There's really not a lot of thought in effort. Oh, look at that. The clock agrees with me. It's just changing your mind. It takes no effort. So, wow, look at that. Our pillars are all swords. And it came out, Eight of Winter. The dreamer, the fool. Enhance your true purpose. Begin a new adventure and trust yourself. Look at this is interesting. We end with a flying fairy. Look at that with the beautiful light, white aura around your head. And you walk away and then you become colorful and innocent and trust yourself and go on a new path. And with just people and things that you love and that are beautiful. Shed. What's the next card wants to show itself? Queen of Winter. Oh, Queen of Swords. Strong, patient, self-sufficient, funny. Let go of people or things that no longer serve you. Now is the time to focus on your career. Unmarried or divorced individuals. Well, I'm neither one of those. Queen of Autumn. Generous, stylish, gracious, practical. Be practical with respect to how you proceed. The ability to make anything more beautiful. Meeting someone who can help your dreams come true. So look at that. That we've only got two wands in here. And do you want to know something? Did you notice? We only have one major arcana, and that's the Fool. Fresh beginnings, fresh starts. This tells us this is all in our hands. This is all in our control, right? Major arcanas are things that are things that are coming in our life that sometimes are not in our control. But when they're minor arcanas, and look, we got fours, five, six, twos. I think that's the biggest one, and eight right there, fives. They're very easily to be changed. They're not that strong at all. So I'm just going to do some clarifiers with our angels, but first I must blow my nose. One moment, please. All right, sorry. Yeah, I got kind of choked up there. I let my emotions get the best of me, but sometimes when you're an empath and a sensitive, you feel that person's heart. That's why I don't do too many personal readings. Some readings bother me for a day or two afterwards. And I know you're supposed to put on your Teflon suit or whatever, but I'm also only human. And I feel for the people who are struggling and have difficulties. And that's why I can't do too many readings. And that's why I really try my best to clear the readings as well. So if you say to me, oh, remember when you did my reading? No, I don't. I can't. Not that your reading was bad. I just don't have the bandwidth to remember everybody's readings. But let's ask the angels for some clarifiers here. So to tackle depression, sadness, loneliness, psychological attacks from the narcissists and the mentally ill that are in our life, what say you, angels? What would you like us to know to help us through this time? You know, and I really like this reading. It really does give an offer of help, doesn't it? Let go of the struggle. Use your mind to, it's brain over heart in this situation. And as much as you love the person and you wish them well, you've got to really look after yourself first and foremost. Let them figure it out. Let them figure it out. And not revengeful either. You know, let them go in peace. And you go in peace. And what do the angels have to tell us? What do the angels have to tell us? Let's get some clarifiers. What say you, angels? What say you? Oh, interesting cut. Six of Earth. Oh, so we have two of these. Gifts of money, time, or effort, new career opportunities, receiving a loan or paying off debt. So that's interesting. We both got the Six of Pentacles. So I would say definitely volunteer somewhere. Get out, help somebody else, get out of your own head kind of thing. And this is not necessarily giving money. I mean, a lot of us are depressed and sad and lonely because of money. Here come the credit card bills from Christmas, or we spent too much at Christmas and we know it, or we're, you know, maybe we didn't spend too much, but now we're back on a budget kind of thing. So I'm not going to say you necessarily have to give money. I mean, if you want to, if that makes you feel better, that's fine. But I'm going to suggest that gifts of time or effort, gifts, and charity begins at home. Maybe this is just, you know, helping your make your child lunch, right? Maybe you have an adult child living with you. Make them lunch, surprise them with some kind of, you know, favor or some such thing, or, you know, whatever, do one of their chores for them or something like that. It doesn't have to be huge. It just has to really, because if it's too big, it's going to become overwhelming and you won't do it when you're depressed. It can't be overwhelming. It has to be something that you think would spark joy in their life. King of Earth, generous, professional, responsible, practical, a successful time, confidently accept opportunities you're offered. The Midas touch. So I'm going to say so now we have the King, Queen, and the King, Queen, and Page of Pentacles on the table. So put yourself into your career. That's a good intellectual change, right? Rather than wallowing in your sadness and depression and loneliness and wondering why these people are attacking you. um, Throw yourself into work. If you don't work, if you're retired, then what about, do you have a hobby like painting or, if you're living in the winter, I suppose you couldn't do too much gardening, but perhaps you could buy a gardening magazine and start planning, because this is earth, this is autumn, so start planning for the next planting season. But get out of your head in that way. Balance. Oh, I love this. Archangel Zadikel. The need for balance and moderation, cooperation and compromise. Wait for perfect timing. Now, wait for perfect timing. I don't want you to wait too long, but this could also mean that this is not the time to address some of these things. So, for example, if you're quite depressed and sad and lonely and you're getting these psychological attacks, of course, if you need to talk to somebody, talk to them. But is this the time to really wallow in it? Is this the time to go deeper and deeper and deeper and get your thoughts spinning out of control? So, wait for perfect timing might be get yourself stronger, get yourself out of here, out of that deep dark hole that you're in, then address the problems when you're coming in from a much stronger place. And that's what I'm picking up with balance. Right? If you want to approach the person who's hurting you right now and you're hurt, I think that that's not the right time. The time is to pull yourself up, get yourself stronger, then address these. So the cards are right. Walk away, throw yourself into work, throw yourself into volunteering in something. Use your mind, manifest with your thoughts a better place, a better feeling, if you're depressed, what could make feel a little bit better? Perhaps contentment. So maybe visualize yourself just being content. You don't even have to be happy and joyful. You can't go from depressed to joy. It's too big. But maybe you can go from depressed to content. That feeling that you've just eaten enough, not too much, not too little. It's perfect. Just that contentment. You know what? The weather's nice. This cup of tea is perfect. Makes you feel a little bit better. So wait for that balance, wait for perfect timing, that you're stronger to address these issues. I think right now, and again, I'm no doctor, or I'm just telling, like right now is, I think what's most important is to turn this ship around and get out of this rut that we're in and try and get into a different level before we want to take some of these things head on and figure out, why am I depressed? Why did I overspend? Don't do that right now. Just work on feeling a little bit better, and then once you're stronger, then address those issues. So I can see cooperation and compromise. I can see why this showed up. Justice, Archangel Raquel. Fair and just decisions. Do what you know is right. Stand up for your beliefs. So remember, these are clarifiers that we got here. So I'm thinking the cards are now, and isn't that interesting? Now some major arcanas are showing up, and in the archangels, and now they're saying once you're stronger, this is what you need to do. And isn't that interesting? They're both balance. And so is that balancing your heart, mind, soul, body, stand up for yourself, do what's right. It might be closing the door on on uh on some people. It might be closing the door on some people, and stand up for your beliefs. If you believe that you are this Eight of Winter, this Eight of Swords, that you are a victim, you're going to continue to be a victim. But if you get out of your heart and use a thought process and walk away and stand up for your beliefs and say, you know what? You don't treat people like that. You know what? I overspent on all these people. You know what? Maybe I had high expectations for Christmas. You know what? Maybe I do overdo it. Maybe I underdo it. Maybe I should care a little bit more, right? And so, but you can't do that until you're in a better state of mind. Because if you do right now stand up for your beliefs, I believe it'll make things worse because you are in a state that you're weak and you'll capitulate to what they want, or they'll, I find that narcissists, they love attacking when you're down. They love kicking you when you're down. Oh yeah. If you're down, here comes the boot to the teeth. So don't show them. Don't show them that. All right? Get yourself strong, and then you don't even have to tell them what your beliefs are. You can just say it to yourself, like, that's it. I'm blocking that person. You don't even have to um you don't even have to approach them or tell them what you're doing. It's none of their business. I'm blocking them, I'm cutting them out of my life, and I'm not, don't allow them to do any of that. 8 of water, look at that. 8 of cups. Move on. A desire to move on, the search for something more meaningful, spiritual, and emotional growth. And what's the underlying here? The lovers. Intimate relationships, carefully weigh your decisions, good health. There you go. So you do these things, and then this is Archangel Raphael. And this is also the lovers' choice. Carefully weigh your decisions and good health. You do some of these things and imagine, and good health is not being depressed, not feeling sad, not feeling lonely, not getting those psychological daggers from people, because you've put a wall up around you. You've learned to put the Teflon suit around you, and that's one of the things I use is my Teflon suit. You pretend you're actually in like visualize yourself in a spacesuit, and it's made of Teflon, so nothing sticks. So people can say whatever they want and it doesn't stick. It just rolls off like a fried egg. And I normally do that, but sometimes like you get so busy and you get it's Christmas, and before you know it, maybe somebody has a few drinks and you figure you're around friends and family, and before you know it, they're shooting daggers at you and you're caught unaware. And life, yeah, like you're only human. And that's what happens. And those that's black magic actually. That's what it does. It plays with your head and your heart until you believe it's right. But I don't know why, I really feel for what King Charles is going through with the loss of his son, but he has to do it on a world stage, right? I mean, all of us, we're private people. They don't see our family fights. They don't see the people who know, my neighbors don't know my mentally ill relations. Um, uh, you know, so, some parts of that is private. And I can't imagine living through this in the public. But if you are experiencing deep depression, sadness, loneliness, there are many, many places that you can call absolutely free, talk to someone. If you don't feel like calling a friend and going, for a coffee, or even just chatting online with somebody, and I get it, some of this stuff is really private. You don't want people to know some of the stuff that, like, I'm not expressing to you exactly what happened. I don't want you to know. Not that I don't trust you, I can't talk about it. So, um, I just think that find somebody, whether it's a free line, a suicide helpline, um, a neighbor that you trust, a friend. Like I said, go on Facebook and chat with people. They don't have to know you're sad. They don't see you, but at least you're reaching out to another human being that you know, and send them a DM and say, hey, for coffee, or do you have time for a coffee? Let's just catch up, right? Or volunteer, or throw yourself into your work. Do anything but sit and wallow in what's going on, because you're just going to make it worse and worse. But if you need to, please call a doctor, please call a therapist, please call a counselor. If you don't have the funds for it, if your country doesn't cover it, there's plenty of free options that people will talk to you. Like I said, suicide hotlines, there's depression hotlines, etc., etc. Please, it's a really tough time of year. This is the hardest time for suicides. It's the winter blues for a reason. We're in our sword season. All right? Please take good care of yourself. If this touched you or helped you in any way, can you please let me know? That would make me feel really good. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take good care. See you online.